Breaking Middle East airspace closed. Flights canceled, reopening timeline explained. Opens with Flight Radar 24. Empty sky visual, drone hit airport. Burj Al Arab fire. Then pivots to, your flight might be affected too. Grabs attention and establishes personal stakes in 3 sentences. Go to Flight Radar 24 right now while you're watching this and look at the Middle East. See that right there? There's nothing there. Like nothing. Where there should be thousands of planes crammed into one of the busiest airspaces on the planet, there's just a hole. Empty sky, like someone deleted that part of the map. They didn't delete anything. That's real life right now. Dubai's airport got hit by a drone, and people were sprinting through smoke inside the terminal. The Burj Al Arab, the fancy sail-shaped hotel, was literally on fire. Families in Dubai spent the night in parking garages because the city doesn't have bomb shelters. Parents were telling their kids the explosions were Ramadan fireworks, so they wouldn't panic. And here's what nobody's talking about. This doesn't just affect the Middle East. If you're in London, Bali, Mumbai, Sydney, anywhere, your flight could be wrecked too, even if you're nowhere close to what's happening. I've been glued to this story since Saturday, and the more I dig in, the worse it gets. So let me walk you through exactly what happened, what it means for global travel, and when flights might actually come back. Saturday, February 28th, the US and Israel launch a massive coordinated strike on Iran. Missile systems, air defenses, navy, military command centers, the works. And they killed Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, gone in a single day. Think about what that means for a second. The most powerful person in Iran, dead. What happens next is exactly what you'd expect. Iran fires back, and they don't hold back. The Revolutionary Guard says they're retaliating against 27 military bases where American troops are stationed. But here's the problem. Those bases aren't out in some empty desert. They're in Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Doha, Bahrain, Kuwait. Cities where millions of normal people are living their lives, going to work, catching flights, taking their kids to school. Hundreds of ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, and drones launched at countries most people think of as vacation spots and business hubs, not war zones. Within hours, 8 countries shut their airspace: Iran, Israel, Iraq, Jordan, Qatar, Bahrain, Kuwait, and the UAE. Syria partly closed too. And the entire middle of the global aviation map just went dark. Now here's where it gets really bad, because this wasn't just a precautionary closure. Airports physically got hit. Dubai International, Terminal 3, where regular people sit around eating overpriced sandwiches waiting for their gate. A drone hit it. Social media footage shows people running through hallways full of smoke, dust everywhere, furniture knocked over. 4 staff got injured. Then, a few hours later, a second explosion near the airport sent a massive column of black smoke over the city. Abu Dhabi's Zayed International got hit too. A drone was intercepted, but falling debris killed a Pakistani worker and injured 7 more. Kuwait's airport was also targeted. But honestly, it's what happened to the rest of Dubai that shook me. The Fairmont Hotel on Palm Jumeirah, one of the most expensive pieces of real estate on Earth, engulfed in flames. The Burj Al Arab caught fire from debris. There was smoke near the Burj Khalifa. Jebel Ali Port had fires. An Amazon data center got damaged and had to kill its power. The US consulate caught fire from a drone. The UAE Ministry of Defense released updated numbers: 186 ballistic missiles detected heading toward the country, 172 intercepted and destroyed, 13 fell into the sea. They tracked 812 Iranian drones, intercepted 755 of them, but 57 still made impact. 8 cruise missiles were also detected and destroyed. The interception rate was around 95%. Legitimately impressive. But here's what people don't think about. When you shoot a missile out of the sky, the debris doesn't just evaporate. It falls onto hotels, airports, and people's neighborhoods. 3 people died across the UAE, all migrant workers from Pakistan, Nepal, and Bangladesh. The people who literally built that city. 68 others were injured. And the parking garage thing? I can't get that image out of my head. Dubai is built on the idea that everything is luxury, everything is safe, nothing can touch you. And now parents are dragging mattresses into underground garages because there's nowhere else to go. Some told their little kids the booms outside were Ramadan fireworks so they wouldn't panic. One parent told CNN her 6-year-old giggles at the big explosions and says, "Ooh, that was a good one," while mom runs outside with a camera trying to catch the smoke trails. Another resident described hiding as explosions, shook the building above them, not knowing if the next one would be closer. Dubai on a winter weekend, peak tourist season, should have had packed beaches, full hotels, and brunch culture going strong. Instead, the highways were empty, and the sky was clear of planes for the first time anyone could remember. That's where we are. Now the flights, because this is where it goes from a regional crisis to a global one. Since February 28th, over 32,000 flights were supposed to come and go from the Middle East. Roughly 19,000 got canceled according to Cirium data. That's around 900,000 seats per day that just disappeared. Emirates had about 40% of flights canceled before shutting down completely. FlyDubai lost over half. Qatar Airways was at 41% before going fully grounded. Overall, more than 54% of all scheduled departures from the Middle East were just erased. But here's the part people keep missing. And this is why it matters, even if you're watching from London or Melbourne. Dubai, Doha, Abu Dhabi, they're not just destinations, they're the connectors. They're the reason a flight from Europe to Asia is affordable and doable. Think of them as the world's biggest layover cities. London to Singapore goes through Dubai. Mumbai to New York goes through Doha. Melbourne to Paris goes through Abu Dhabi. Thousands of these routes every single day. When those hubs go down, it's not just Middle East travel that stops. It's travel everywhere that use those hubs as stepping stones. A plane that should be in Singapore is stuck in London. A crew that's supposed to fly Melbourne is trapped in a Doha hotel room listening to explosions at 3 a.m. The whole system cascades. And remember when Russia invaded Ukraine in 2022 and Russian airspace closed to Western airlines? That forced Europe to Asia flights further south through the Middle East. That was the backup plan. And now the backup plan is gone too. The usable sky between hemispheres is getting worryingly small. Let me run through the airlines quickly, because if you've got a ticket booked, you need this information. Emirates, everything suspended from Dubai, rebook through March 20th, or get a full refund. But they literally said do not come to the airport unless they contact you. Do not just show up. Etihad, everything out of Abu Dhabi halted. Free rebooking for tickets before February 28th. Qatar Airways, fully grounded. Air India, and this one blew my mind. They didn't just cancel Middle East flights, they canceled flights between India and Europe, India and America. Because those routes fly over the Middle East and the airspace in between is closed, so the planes literally cannot get there. Think about that for a second. Lufthansa suspended their entire Middle East operation through at least March 4th. KLM wiped Dubai, Riyadh, Dammam, and Tel Aviv through March 5th at minimum. British Airways cut Tel Aviv and Bahrain. United pulled crews out of Dubai and Tel Aviv. Air France grounded Middle East routes through Thursday. Turkish Airlines slashed multiple routes. Even Virgin Australia, on the other side of the planet, had to cancel 6 Doha flights. And airlines still running other routes have to fly around the entire conflict zone. Longer flights, more fuel, more expensive. That 7-hour trip you booked might be 10 hours now, and your wallet is going to feel it. But behind these numbers are actual people, and I think that's getting lost in the coverage. Over 20,000 travelers stranded just from the UAE closures. In Bali, over 1,600 tourists got stuck because Middle East connecting flights were canceled, which is wild when you think about how far that ripple traveled. There's a guy in Bangladesh, Mohammed Abdul Manan, standing in a crowd at Dhaka airport trying to get to a Gulf job. He told reporters he's not worried about the war. He's worried about money. He said, "We have set out to go for work, and we must go. My only concern is how to earn an income." That man doesn't care about geopolitics. He needs to feed his family, and the sky between him and his paycheck slammed shut. India's Olympic badminton star, PV Sindhu, got caught in the Dubai airport chaos trying to reach a UK tournament. Her coach had to run from smoke and debris inside the terminal. At an airport in 2026, a Virgin Australia flight attendant, Sarah Goodwin, has been posting from Doha calling it the craziest situation of her life, saying she can hear missiles from her hotel room. This is a flight attendant. Her job is supposed to be serving snacks at 35,000 feet, not listening to rocket fire from a hotel. An American businesswoman, Christy Elmer, stuck in a Dubai hotel, keeping multiple flights booked simultaneously hoping something opens, says she hears hundreds of explosions and stays away from windows. Germany estimates 30,000 of their tourists are stranded. TUI, their biggest tourism group, started running flights home on Tuesday. India launched emergency SpiceJet flights from Fujairah to Delhi and Mumbai. Thailand is prepping military planes to evacuate 110,000 Thai nationals across the region. The UK announced repatriation plans. This stopped being a Middle East story days ago. This is everyone's story now. So when does it end? I'll give you everything we know. But these deadlines have already been pushed back multiple times, so treat this as the latest information, not guarantees. Iran, totally shut March 7th at the earliest and probably later. Israel, totally shut maybe March 6th with only special permission flights. Iraq, shut maybe March 4th. Syria, shut maybe March 3rd. Qatar, Bahrain, Kuwait, all shut, estimated March 3rd. The UAE, this one's messy because it's technically partially open, but that barely means anything in practice. Emirates squeezed out a handful of flights on the evening of March 2nd. Etihad got 16 flights out in a 3-hour window from Abu Dhabi, and then the window closed again. The government is running emergency corridors with capacity for 48 flights per hour. They've moved about 17,500 people on 60 flights so far and are scaling up to more than 80 flights a day carrying over 27,000 passengers. But it's stop and start because every new attack disrupts whatever progress they make. Jordan went with a split, open during the day, closed 6 p.m. to 7 a.m. every night. Basically fly when the sun's up and hide when the missiles come at night. Saudi Arabia was partially closed near the Gulf borders, then Riyadh got hit by drones on Tuesday morning and threw everything into chaos again. Oman, the one country that stayed open the whole time, and people have been literally driving from Dubai to the Omani border just to find a working airport. That's how desperate it's gotten. Here's the honest reality. As long as missiles are still flying, and they are, full reopening isn't happening. One aviation analyst put it perfectly. A full reopening is one thing. You recover from that. But a partial reopening where everything is still restricted and unstable, you can't even predict when normal comes back. Someone compared this to the Icelandic volcano in 2010 that shut European airspace for 8 days, but that was a volcano and it does its thing and stops. This is an active military conflict between multiple countries with no ceasefire in sight. There is no predictable end. The timeline is when the shooting stops, and nobody knows when that is. If you have a flight booked through any Middle Eastern hub in the next 2 to 3 weeks, here's what to do. Check your airline's website today, not tomorrow today. Most carriers are offering free date changes and full refunds, and do it online because the phone lines are an absolute nightmare right now. If you're stuck somewhere, call your country's embassy because multiple governments are running rescue flights, and your embassy might actually be your fastest way home. Don't go to the airport unless your airline specifically confirms your flight. Showing up and hoping for the best is just going to leave you sleeping on an airport floor with no information. If you're trying to reroute around the Middle East, expect longer flights, higher prices, and delays that seem unrelated to the conflict, but absolutely are. And travel insurance? If you have it, file your claim now. If you don't, lesson learned. I know that sounds harsh, but the world just showed us that a war thousands of miles away can wreck your Tuesday. Last week, Dubai was the safest feeling city in the Middle East. Maybe the world? Beaches packed, brunch culture going strong, the airport landing a plane every 2 minutes around the clock connecting half the planet. Nobody worried about anything except whether they'd get an upgrade. Today, the sky above that city is empty, the airport has smoke damage, and the most photographed buildings on Earth had fire on them. People who came for vacation can't leave, and people who live there are sleeping underground. One analyst called it Dubai's ultimate nightmare because the entire place, the economy, the tourism, the brand, was built on one single promise. We are the safe place. Come here, and nothing bad will happen. One weekend of missiles, and that promise is just gone. I don't know when it comes back, or if it comes back the same way. This is what war looks like in 2026. It doesn't just happen on battlefields. It shows up at airport gates, in hotel lobbies, on your phone when your flight app sends a notification you weren't expecting. It reaches a tourist in Bali and a migrant worker in Dhaka and a flight attendant in Doha who just wanted to do her job and go home. We're all connected now, and when something breaks in the middle, we all feel the crack. If this helped you understand what's happening, share it with someone who has a flight booked. And if you're stuck somewhere, drop a comment and tell me where, because I'm reading all of them. Subscribe so you don't miss the updates as this develops. Stay safe out there. All facts verified from CNN, Al Jazeera, CNBC, Flight Radar 24, Gulf News, Breaking Defense, Cirium Data, Aerospace Global News, Euronews, Times of Israel, and official airline and UAE Ministry of Defense statements, all published between February 28th and March 4th, 2026. Ties the drone-hit airport back to the 8-country airspace closure, frames it as a global crisis, not a regional one, ends with subscribe.